Renovating a 5-inch gauge sweep piece steam locomotive, part 19, an experiment with paint. The second episode about this. Let the painting begin. This video shows the application of the first 2 coats of paint, and I show my improvised kitchen table spray booth. 2 days later, once the paint is dry, I commence the sanding process. This is followed by using the small rotary polisher to make it shine. Here's my improvised kitchen spray booth, which is a large cardboard box. It stops the paint from going all over the kitchen table, but here it is sat on the workbench just for the photograph. You can see that I've masked off the nameplate. The paint immediately around the nameplate is a little bit raggy and needs some attention. This, by the way, is after the first coat, and as you can see, there are 1 or 2 slight runs that need some attention. I start the rubbing down process using 600 grade wet-to-dry sandpaper. This is not too rough and not too smooth. I'd better mention, before many experts write in to tell me, I am not a painter. Like a lot of things that I do, I just practice the art and manage to get away with it. So if you are an expert painter and are cringing watching me do this, please don't write in and tell me. Just make a video about it, then you will find out just how difficult it is to make videos about doing this sort of thing. Working on this tank was quite difficult because it didn't sit level on the bench. Underneath it are various fittings for the water piping, so it rocked about a bit on the bench as I was working on it. In this section of the video, I'm still using 600 grade wet-to-dry sandpaper. And I know it's called silicon carbide paper really, but I generally refer to it as sandpaper. I'm sure you get what I mean. The first coat went on perfectly at the front of the tank, but the second coat, that you can see here, reacted with the first coat and lifted the paint. So I'm having to rub it off, and once again I'm using 600 grit for this. In retrospect, I should have used the paint that I used for the Land Rover, which is 1K converted paint. This is synthetic enamel, and it's quite temperamental when you overcoat it. You live and learn. If I do another tank like this, I will use the 1K converted stuff. It's much better. Once I'd finally applied 2 coats of this paint and left it for a couple of days, it's time to try out my new toy. I'm going in cold on this one. I've never used one of these before. After a couple of test rubs on various things like the bench and other things in the workshop, I got to grips with how fast it needs to go to get a good polish without overheating the work. The last thing you want to do is put too much pressure on and run at too high a speed, because that will actually remove the paint, not polish it. You've also got to make sure that it is lubricated with the cutting compound, and if the foam disc runs dry because there's not enough compound on it, then you will damage the paint. It's a very difficult operation, this. At first I struggled with it, but then the penny dropped. I frequently stopped the job and applied more compound, and after a while it looked like this, and I really do think this is okay. I've seen cars painted worse than this. Because I'm a beginner at this sort of thing, I find it really good using this tool, but you have to know when to stop. Leave it alone once it's shiny enough. I bought some of this at Autopaint Northern. It's a finishing detailer and it makes things shine. I don't know if you're supposed to apply it with the polisher or whether you apply it just with a cloth, but either way it makes the paintwork look very nice. My reference for the shine that I need is on the cab, which is already fitted to the locomotive. The original paintwork on this tank was very shiny, but in certain areas it looked really bad, and it was also badly chipped. Hence the requirement to learn how to do it and repaint it. Time for a quick look at the polishing machine. The speed is controlled accurately by how far you press in the trigger. It's battery powered, so you know wires to worry about. And during this entire polishing process, which believe me was a lot more than you're seeing here, I flattened the battery just once, but it soon charged up and it was back to work. The top and the sides were the easy parts, but the ends were not quite so easy because of the brackets which are in the way and really dug into the side of the foam polishing disc. This is quite a problem really. I bought a few of these discs just in case I fouled up, but there's no way I can not damage the disc slightly going around these brackets. In the end, with a bit of practice, a bit of care and quite a lot of precision, I got the finish on the rear of the tank that I required. Here I'm wiping away the fragments from the polishing disc. Now comes the really difficult part. This is the front. And I'm using 1200 grade wet-to-dry sandpaper for the detailing. This is a really difficult and fiddly job to get around all the parts that are sticking out of the panel. I then moved on to 1500 grade wet-to-dry sandpaper to finish it off. Even though it was looking good, I still needed to polish it, and as you can see, there are certain areas which are not perfectly flat. Luckily though, once I started using the polishing machine, this part of the tank also looked quite good. To finish off the job, I used the Shine detailing liquid, but I applied it with a cotton cloth. These cloths are actually curtain lining. A few years ago when I was a computer engineer, I used to do some work at a curtain company, and the maintenance man used to give me the roll ends. You just cut the rolls longitudinally using a Stanley knife, and you end up with lots of high-grade polishing cloths. I was quite pleased with the result. The tank is just as shiny as the cab. All I need to do now is tidy up the edges of the nameplate. I'm not going to bother painting in between the letters with some matte black. I was going to do, but I quite like it the way it is. It's a contrast to the one on the cab. And that's it for this episode. The tank is looking a whole lot better than it did, and it's ready to fit back to the locomotive. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.